Discipline was not about working harder. It was about working smarter. It was about being consistent, about building systems and building something that was going to outlast me. Because at that point, if I were to die that day, nothing was going to continue to grow because I was the man behind the machine and I was the machine.
Yo, Big D in the house, baby. Relentless execution, you already know. This is for the dream chasers, the grinders, the doers. Let's get it. Relentless execution, we don't ever stop. Climbing to the top, we rise like a rocket. Big D's the name, yeah, I'm running the game. From the ground up, now they all know the name. Big D.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Big D Podcast. This is episode number 46. Today we're going to talk about the discipline blueprint, how to outwork, outlast, and outperform your competition. Welcome back to the Big D Podcast. I am the host of the Big D Podcast, Dan Sikowski. If you're here, you know that we focus on one thing: wealth, freedom, and relentless execution. Wealth is all about building a business that creates financial power and sustainable success. Freedom is all about taking back control of your time, choices, and your future. And relentless execution is all about taking massive action, overcoming obstacles, and making things happen. Before we dive into this episode, November 6th, mark your calendars. The 7-figure Blueprint Syndicate goes live again. Myself, Abdel, and Sam, and Bedros Keuilian, yes, Bedros himself, is flying in from California. One room, one night, one mission to hand you the exact blueprint you need to scale your business without any excuses. This is not a motivational seminar. This is a tactical, raw, and practical blueprint for anyone who's in business, service-based business, contractors, whoever it is, entrepreneurs who are tired of working 16 hours days and staying stuck. Tickets are going to sell out. They are going fast right now. We're about 2 months away. DM me right now as soon as you see this to lock in your spot, because I'm telling you right now, you don't want to miss this event. Don't wait until you're watching clips from online because you weren't in that room. Last 7-figure Blueprint Syndicate was sold out. People were so upset, and they were asking if we recorded the entire session, therefore if we were going to be able to give it to people who missed the event. We are not doing that. We didn't do that. This is an event that you need to be there live, participate, and listen to, because that's how you take action. So let's talk about why most owners quit before they win. Let's start with the truth. Most business owners fail not because they don't know what they're doing, because they don't have discipline to do it every day. You know what I mean? Skipping out on the calls that you should be making, putting off the systems that you know that your business needs to move forward, hitting the snooze button one more time in the morning because you're tired instead of hitting the gym. Here's the brutal reality. You can't build a 7-figure business on a part-time discipline. You cannot scale something if you're not consistent. And you're only consistent when you feel like it. I've seen guys in construction great at their craft, best in the field, but they never grow because they don't know how to stay disciplined. They chase urgent instead of important. They work hard for 3 weeks and then they coast for the next 2 months. And then they wonder why they're stuck at $500 to $1 million in revenue and they can't seem to get over that threshold. The pain of the understanding this is that if you're living undisciplined, this is going to cost you the best future that's ahead of you. Here's what undisciplined living looks like to you: burnout, chasing fires, never building systems, you never rest, and your energy's always tanking. You miss out on opportunities. The deals you don't follow up on, somebody else gets them. You don't onboard an employee properly. You didn't train them. You didn't show them the system. They're just basically doing what they're doing to keep busy and looking like they're actually progressing, but in the meantime, they're really not. It also allows you to destroy trust because you're not disciplined. So if you're not disciplined, people aren't going to trust you in the way that you do business, and your team is going to see your inconsistency. Your family is going to feel your inconsistency, and people are going to stop trusting you because they don't feel that you're putting everything in that you should be putting in. And let me tell you something. Your kids are watching. Your spouse is watching. Your employers are watching. When you say one thing and do another, they're going to learn that they can't trust you because your words and your actions are not lining up. That's the hidden cost of being undisciplined, lack of discipline. I know many guys who've built multi-million-dollar companies, and they've lost it all because they couldn't stay consistent. I've seen men build incredible marriages, and they only blew up because they didn't keep discipline in their personal life, and they lacked growing. They got to a point where they were like, okay, I'm good. Now I'm going to coast through this. And if you're not growing every day, whatever you're doing, your business, your family, your marriage, your relationship, whatever it is, ultimately it's dying. Discipline is not just about making money. It's about building trust, building consistency, and also building a legacy. Let me tell you something. My story is pretty incredible. Like the turning points, the things I recognized when I started feeling and seeing and moving differently because of the things that were happening in my life. Let me take you back on my journey. I thought I was invincible. I was grinding 16-hour days. I thought I was winning. I was working 7 days a week. I was looking for that badge of honor until my heart attack in 2022. One day was the usual grind, like usual. Nothing was different. But the next day, I was flat on my back in the hospital room, staring at the ceiling, asking myself, what the hell am I doing all this for? I was on my way to the hospital in the ambulance, thought I was dying, thought that was it. And I was just literally thinking there, like, I'm not done. I didn't do all the things I was supposed to do. I didn't achieve all the things I was supposed to achieve. I didn't show my kids greatness. I was telling myself this. And that was my wake-up call. Discipline was not about working harder. It was about working smarter. It was about being consistent, about building systems and building something that was going to outlast me. Because at that point, if I were to die that day, nothing was going to continue to grow because I was the man behind the machine and I was the machine. Same thing with my fitness. Back when I was 16, I hated the way I looked. I couldn't do a single push-up. But I built discipline over time, one rep at a time, one day at a time. I started with one push-up, then 5, then 10. Over time, I could do 50 push-ups. Today, I can still do 50 to 100 push-ups, no problem. And over time, that discipline reshaped my body and my mindset and my life because it showed me through consistency how things can change. In my business, I wore every single shirt. Sales, estimating, project managing, collections, whatever it was. I thought I was leading. But in all reality, I was babysitting my people and I was babysitting my business. It all came to a head when 3 big jobs collided. I was exhausted. I was eating like crap. I was sleeping maybe 4 hours a night and everything was falling apart. And that's when I had to admit to myself that my lack of discipline and my lack of creating systems in delegating, in protecting my time, this was now costing me everything. In that moment, I got discipline. I hired a project manager. I built a process. I understood about, making pre-orders for materials, understanding our full list of what we needed so we weren't running around, missing this, missing that. I blocked out time for sales. Within 90 days, revenue jumped, jobs ran smoother, and I finally felt like the CEO instead of the laborer with a title of owner. Understand that there's a solution to every problem. No matter what the problem is in our life, as long as we look at the solution and we don't stick on the problem, we can always get out of it. We can always win. We can always grow. I'm going to give you the framework to build discipline in your business and in your life. If you're ready, here we go. The first thing you need to do is you need to build anchors, not goals. Goals fade. Anchors keep you grounded. My anchors: morning fitness, journaling, building something that I'm uncomfortable doing every single day. And if I skip, my day spirals. I feel confused. I feel like I'm not doing the right stuff. So I always get up and I make sure that my daily routine, everything in the morning is starting the same way. It's just the way I think about it is like if my car needed to warm up in the winter, if it's the winter time, my car needs to warm up. Okay. It's got to warm up. It'll drive better. The trans temperature will rise. The car temperature will rise. When I get in the car, everything's going to operate more smoothly. I'm going to be warm. Car's going to be warm. We're going to be able to get to our destination. But how many times do people rush, leave the house later than they're supposed to? Don't give themselves enough time to warm their car up. Now, you're uncomfortable driving, your car's driving like shit because it's not warmed up. The same thing with your daily routine. If you miss these daily routines, these sequence of events that you should be doing day in and day out to get your day rolling, it's going to throw you off balance. It's going to throw you off par. So many people I know just wake up and they just go with it. Whatever happens, happens. There's no agenda. They're not living by a schedule. They don't put important things first and, tend to things that could be done later. It's like whatever's in the moment. It's such inconsistency and such undisciplined behavior that it throws you off all the time. The second thing is non-negotiables in business. This is huge. This is something I learned at a young age in business, and it's something that has helped me grow many, many years. And it's something that I help my coaching clients with doing. It's non-negotiables because sometimes we feel that we can give people a break. We could do this, depending on the person, depending on the client, depending on the situation. Absolutely not. Decide what matters most to you and make it non-negotiable. For me, it's sales calls, training my teams, reviewing my financials. That's what I know gets done. Whether I like it or not, that stuff needs to be done, and it needs to be done correctly 110%. You know how many people are in business and they don't even know their financials? How much money did you make last year? No idea. How much money is your company doing gross? No idea. What was your net? No idea. If you don't know some of this stuff, there's really no way to scale yourself and take yourself to the threshold to grow your business to the next level. I work with a contractor who hated sales. He avoided it for weeks. Once I was with him, I was sitting with him, and we made 5 follow-up calls a day, non-negotiable. We did it for an entire week. He landed over $250,000 in new contracts in a month. And I mean, his contracts are small, $10,000, $15,000 contracts. But he was telling me he was slow. He was telling me he doesn't understand what's going on. And I looked at all of his lead gen, everything that was coming in. I'm like, man, you're not following up. You're putting these bids out there. You're not following up. Let's hammer the phones for the next 2 weeks and see what happens. $250,000 in a 30-day period extra that he wasn't going to get if he didn't make those follow-up calls. The next thing is create accountability. Discipline dies in isolation, right? So you need people who are going to check for you and check in on you. For me, it's my mentors, it's my kids, it's my team. They hold me accountable to the man I said I was going to be. So understanding that if I set the tone and I raise the bar for here's what I'm doing, why I'm doing, when I'm doing, how I'm doing, and somebody's holding me accountable for that, the push and the how-to is going to be a lot easier versus just saying, all right, you know what, whatever happens, where I end up. You're just going to be back where you started. You might gain some momentum, but you're always going to fall backwards because you have nothing and no one that's driving with you, right? The next thing is stack small wins daily. I talk about this all the time. Stop waiting for massive breakthroughs. Win today, win tomorrow. Small wins compound over time and they create massive growth. For example, I didn't lose 40 pounds in a week. I lost it by stacking small wins and daily disciplines over months. And maybe it was a couple pounds this week, a couple pounds next week. But if I was like, man, I really need to lose 40 pounds and I go on a scale and it's not moving every day, it's moving a half a pound or a pound, that could be something that could be devastating. It could be unmotivating because things aren't going. But you know what? Muscle weighs more than fat. I had to learn that. I had to know what direction I was going in. I had to understand my body, and it took time. So as long as I was working out, as long as I was eating right, no matter what I was doing, I was stacking those wins day in and day out. I started seeing compounded wins that turned into massive results long term. And the last one here is discipline equals freedom. The paradox, right? Understand that the more structured you are, the more freer you become. When you're disciplined, your business runs way more smoother and it multiplies and it allows you to drop so much stress. Think about Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant used to wake up at 4 a.m. every day. People thought he was absolutely crazy. That's why he was the best. He had free enterprise. Like, he knew what he was doing, he knew where he was going, and he had freedom in the game because he was disciplined because of the preparation. So his free enterprise was like a massive, massive organization that looked up to him, trusted him, knew what he was doing because of how disciplined he was. And he was able to get freedom in the game and do whatever he wanted because he was so skilled, not only physically, mentally, and he was mentally prepared for what he was going to do and how he was going to do it because practice, and he stayed disciplined, and he was able to make those shots, pass the ball in places where people didn't think that the ball could be passed. Many different things about Kobe all fell back on his discipline and his early morning training that people thought he was crazy for. So I've seen this blueprint work over and over again for many people that I've coached. A GC that, disciplined himself to 2 PMs. He had one project manager. I said, listen, bro, you need another project manager. You're not going to grow. Like, you guys are kind of stuck in this position because, like, the one guy and you can only do so much. You got to bring another guy in. And he scaled from 1.2 million to 3 million by just bringing in another project manager. So an extra $300,000 a year, literally tripled his business because he was able to have 2 people performing. And what he also did was now created competition. So each project manager was looking at what the other one was doing and how they were going and growing every month and making sure that they were staying in line with each other because now they had something to compete against. So it made a friendly competition, but it also made his business grow a lot smarter. A landscaper, I know, he was able to discipline himself to raise his prices. I mean, he was cutting grass, I think, still for like $35, $30. I'm like, bro, you're never going to make any money. You need to raise your prices, $50, $60, whatever it is, whatever your demographic is, wherever you are, wherever you're working. Those prices are 10 years ago. You need to raise your prices. If the people you're cutting the lawns for love what you do, they're going to pay you. There are going to be a few customers who are going to be like, oh man, you raised your price so much, I have to go with somebody else. But 2 things are going to happen. Number 1, they don't care about the way their lawn looks. They just want to cut. Number 2, when that other guy comes in that's $30 and you're $60, whatever the number is, they're going to call you back because that guy is not performing the way that you're performing. He literally grew his revenue by 50%. He lost, I think, 17% of his customers, but he grew his revenue by 50% by just raising your price, literally doubled his price. Hey guys, quick interruption to the show. We have Joe and Micah here from Ability Tree. Joe, why don't you share with us what you do at Ability Tree?
Hey, yeah, thank you, Dan. So we come alongside families impacted by disability by providing rest, recreation, education, support, and training, basically bringing families impacted by disability out of isolation into community.
Awesome. Hey guys, after this video, you're going to see a link in the caption. Make sure you check out Ability Tree and check out his mission here with Micah. Awesome. An HVAC contractor who I coached disciplined himself to stop doing small installs. I said, dude, there's no money in small installs. You have to do big work. Within 6 months, his revenue his revenue rose, but his amount of work dropped, meaning like he was doing less but making more because he wasn't doing all of those small jobs that were paying small dividends. So his amount of work that was coming in was a lot less. It dropped, but his revenue grew 40% because he was doing jobs that were 10, 15, 20 times the cost of what those small jobs were. So he's bringing in less work that were paying over 40% more of the amount of work he was doing before. And he finally focused on selling just big work because he saw the dividends and he saw what he can do without stressing himself out to make a few bucks. He was able to price out himself well so that he covered all his ends on big jobs. And even if something went wrong, which something goes wrong all the time, he was always covered. He wasn't losing his shirt. I'm telling you right now, discipline works every time, but you got to get yourself in a way where you start trusting, you start believing that you can do this stuff and you can get to that next level. Here's the truth. Weak men, they negotiate with their weakness all the time. Strong men execute. We have no time to negotiate with our weakness. We don't care. If we want to get stuff done, we got to get it done. People are relying on us. You can't wait for motivation. Nobody's going to motivate you. You can't wait for the perfect time because no time is ever perfect. You build discipline now and you pay the price later. Discipline builds businesses. It builds solid marriages. It builds solid relationships. It builds legacies. With it, it holds and creates strong foundations. Without discipline, everything's going to crumble in front of you. This week, I want you to identify one area where you've maybe been negotiating with weakness. Maybe it's your fitness. Maybe it's your follow-up. Maybe it's your systems. Maybe it's your processes. Maybe it's your leadership. Whatever it is, write it down. Build one small discipline around whatever that is and stick with it day in and day out. I'm telling you right now, within 7 to 14 days, you're going to see a drastic difference in your business because you stuck with it. It's not something that you could just do for 3 days and you just go back to. So, hey guys, listen, check out my blueprint. I have a free 7-day blueprint. If you need to get kicked back into gear, 7-day blueprint, dansikowski.com/blueprint. If you're a contractor and you're tired of being a glorified employee, go to Big D Coaching and let's scale your business together. I'm working on a program right now. I'm taking in the first 50 contractors. We're literally about 50% of the way right now enrolling contractors. I'm hand selecting every single person I'm going to work with. So there are people who are being turned down, but take a look at bigdcoaching.com and you're going to be asked some questions. After those questions are answered, then you're going to get on the phone with me and I'm going to see if I am able to help you based on what you're trying to do. Also, check out intrepidismovement.com. That's another podcast I'm a co-host on. Every single guest is a business owner or somebody of significance. You're going to hear something, see something that was said, and it's going to impact you just from one episode. Every single episode that we drop, we get someone saying, man, that guest, man, what he said, man, what you said, man, that interview, whatever it was, has impacted one person. That's the whole goal. Help one person every episode be dynamic, become dynamic, change your life, whatever it is. And that's the whole goal of what we're trying to do here. Also, I want to shout out to my sponsors, Life Out There Apparel. So right now here today, I'm wearing Life Out Apparel's launch. This is their August launch. So Mark has a launch every single month and he's got a story and he sends me the story. So actually this launch right here, he sent me the story here. This August launch is a story of a young boy that grew up in a very troubled home, spent time in juvenile hall, and to navigate and conquer his own battles of racism, he ended up finding peace through riding a BMX bike. Thank you to his adoptive parents, he ended up becoming a professional BMX rider and now is a BMX legend. John wrote a book called Against All the Odds and even made a movie about his life called The Ride. You could stream it on most platforms. If you don't watch the movie, you're not going to get the full gist of the design. But Mark is extremely, extremely grateful that John was able to do this collaboration with him to not only, talk about his life story, but it's a story that has impacted so many people. So every time Mark puts something out there, it's impacted him, another family, someone in the world, one way or another. And Mark felt it in his heart to say, you know what, I'm going to launch my next clothing line, whether it's this month, next month, a few months from now, whatever it's going to be. I'm going to put a story on a shirt, on a hat, and I'm going to talk about whatever this was. So everything is super, super impactful. So this is the Against All Odds t-shirt, and you can check it out at lifeoutthereapparel.com. Use code BIGD10 for a discount. Also, Proud Father Apparel. Another one of our sponsors, proudfatherapparel.com. Use code BIGD15. Amazing proud fathers, guys who are out there working, doing what they got to do to support their family day in and day out. It's all about the proud fathers. The stuff that he's got on his site is incredible. Get Wabam. This is a product line for car enthusiasts, motorcycle people with boats, jet skis, whatever it is. If you want your stuff clean, you got to get this product. There's no other product on the market. This is the best product on the market. A couple of my favorite products here. We have Whiplash. It's just like a quick detailer. So if something's a little bit dirty, I want to take my Harley out, whatever it is, boom, 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 spray it up, clean it off real quick. Thing looks immaculate, looks beautiful. And then the air freshener. The air freshener, it's summer nights, it smells incredible. I've never ever smelled anything like it. It stays for a long time. It smells really, really good. So check out getwabam.com and use code BIGD10 for a discount. Also, Ability Tree. check out Ability Tree. This is our foundation of choice. You guys saw a clip through this podcast about Ability Tree. Support their mission, whatever it is, whether it's $1, $10, whatever you feel in your heart. As little as a cup of coffee, anything that we can help them do. My mission is by the day I pass, I want to be one of, if not the largest donator to Ability Tree through myself and through the people I connect with, because I really believe that they're doing something incredible, and their mission really, really hit my heart. And Rap State. So Rap State official, use code Big Dan. Rap State on Instagram is Rap State official on Instagram. They're doing promotions where they'll come out and wrap your car. They'll ship your car in, wrap it, PPF it, and send it back to you, all at no cost. You just go on their site. They got some gear, some t-shirts, some hats, some book bags, a bunch of stuff. And if you use code Big Dan, you'll get 150 more entries on any purchase that you make. So check these guys out. And one last reminder, guys, the 7-Figure Blueprint Syndicate, me, Sam, Abdel, and Bedros Koulian. If you're serious about scaling, you're going to get in this room. You're going to DM me. You're going to figure out how to get a ticket to this event. You're going to lock in your spot, and you're going to be there. There is no excuse. This event will be in New Jersey. Stop negotiating with your weakness and start building discipline. It's something super important, not only because you need it, because your family needs it, your business needs it, and your legacy deserves the best version of you starting right now. So this is the Big D Podcast, Wealth, Freedom, Relentless Execution, and I'm going to see you at the top.
Yo, Big D in the house, baby. Relentless execution, you already know. This is for the dream chasers, the grinders, the doers. Let's get it. Relentless execution, we don't ever stop. Climbing to the top, we rise like a rocket. Big D's the name, yeah, I'm running the game. From the ground up, now they all know the name. Big D. Started from the bottom, had a vision so clear. Building empires from the sweat and the tears. Serial entrepreneur, that's the brand I wear. In the game for the long haul, I'm always prepared. From the business to the podcast, always making moves. Every step calculated, never losing the groove. Study the greats, now I'm making my own rules. Success in my blood, ain't no way I'll lose. I got systems, got strategies, laid out the plan. Built a dynamic lifestyle, that's the Big D brand. Raised a family on vision, now I take a stand. Roadmap to success, it's in the palm of my hand. We're relentless execution, we don't ever stop.